stepping down as the T20 captain. Rohit Sharma will take over after World T20. This is Virat to step down after the T20 World Cup. Aarti is joining us for more details here. Aarti, what do we know?
Big breaking news, of course, this evening. Virat Kohli has released the detailed statement. Let me just read out some excerpts from that. Understanding workload is a very important thing, and considering my immense workload for the past 8 to 9 years, playing all three formats and captaining regularly, I feel I need to give myself space to be fully ready to lead the team in Test and ODI cricket. He has said that this decision has taken a lot of time, contemplation and discussions with Ravi Shastri and also Rohit Sharma. Now he's said that he's going to step down as T20 captain after the T20 World Cup in October, and he's already spoken to Saurav Ganguly as well as Jay Shah and informed them about the same. So there have been a few reports recently in the media that there is going to perhaps be a different captain for the one-day format, for the T20 format, for the Test format, and it was supposed to be Rohit Sharma as per those media reports. There was, of course, plenty of denials coming in from the BCCI at that time, saying that there was no such move on the card to have multiple captains. But this statement from Virat Kohli himself admitting that he needs to prioritize Test cricket, he needs to prioritize one-days, and the burden of being a captain for the T20 team is not something that he's looking for right now, given the fact that he has, of course, shouldered this burden for India for several years now.
Absolutely, Aarti. Of course, this is, like you were pointing out, big breaking news is coming in at this point in time. We'll try and get in some more voices as well. But this is Virat Kohli who has said that he's arrived at this decision. It took a lot of time. He discussed with Ravi Shastri and Rohit Sharma, and that he is going to step down as the T20 captain because the burden of all formats is taxing, is what Virat Kohli has said. Rohit Sharma will be taking over after the World T20. Those are the latest details coming in at this point in time. All right, we also got our magic editor Vinay Tiwari who's joining us as well. Vinay, your reaction to this, does this come as a surprise?
Well, I mean, there has been speculation in the media on that. I think the first time when these reports of, the BCCI considering a split captaincy came up, I think there were 2 or 3 senior BCCI functionaries who came out and actually denied this, including Mr. Rajiv Shukla, Mr. Jay Shah, and a couple of other BCCI officials as well. But in terms of the discourse of what should happen in the world of cricket, I think this is something that is being talked about for a while, partly because Rohit Sharma has been a very successful T20 cricket captain, especially for his franchisee Mumbai Indians. It's the 4-time winner, the maximum that any franchisee has won. And there has been talk about how Virat Kohli's batting form has not been the greatest as per the standards that he has set for himself, and which is why a lot of the experts believed that he needs to be given a little bit of a relief from at least one format. And the fact that he's now chosen to say that he would step down after the World Cup from the T20 format tells you that it is not exactly white versus red format as of now, but certainly India is now going to move towards 2 captains, one for the T20, which in all probability will be Rohit Sharma, and Virat for one-days and the Test matches, Avni.
Right. Vinay, also now, this kind of a move now, obviously, how is this going to overall impact the game itself and the different formats going forward?
Well, I don't see any impact per se. I mean, India has had 2 separate captains for 2 separate formats. I mean, remember that Mahendra Singh Dhoni was the captain for the white ball cricket, whereas Virat Kohli was the captain for Test cricket. Then Mahendra Singh Dhoni played under Virat Kohli as well. And in fact, we had a very unique situation which we saw for a couple of years or so, where despite the fact that Virat Kohli was the official captain of the Indian team, in one-days, Mahendra Singh Dhoni would pretty much become the fielding captain and would set the fields, even as Virat would himself stand at the boundary and not exactly play an active part in that. So we've had these things happening in the past as well, and that was a very successful model because we all know that Mahendra Singh Dhoni, being a legend of the game and a very shrewd, and a wily operator on the field, that expertise came in very handy for Virat when he was actually learning the ropes of leading the Indian cricket team. Now, along the way, after Dhoni's retirement, Rohit Sharma has emerged as probably one of the finest short format cricketers in the world, and now, of course, even the Tests, and has played alongside Virat Kohli as the team's vice captain and has filled in for him as well. So I don't see any significant change in the team per se. Yes, there is no question about it that Rohit Sharma has shown a particular inclination towards the choice of players that he would like to play in his team, as opposed to, say, for instance, Virat Kohli. But that's easy to manage for India. I mean, in any ICC tournament, the input of the captain is important while choosing the team. So that I don't think there is anything negative that will come out of it. I think it's probably a good move, because what it will do for Indian cricket is to give the batsman of Virat Kohli, which India currently needs much more than the captain of Virat Kohli, to be honest, Avni.
Yes, absolutely. Vinay, I request you to please stay with us. I'm also being joined by Alan Sippy, former cricketer, as well on the phone line. Thank you very much, Alan, for joining us. Your reaction to this in terms of the fact that this is now going to mean different formats having different captains.
Yes, I think it's obviously it's come as a surprise, but at the same time, I think this is the norm, because you see, these are how the world cricket is going down, with so much pressures on the people and so much pressures on the cricketers. I think Virat has taken a sensible move here, because he realizes that there's a lot of stake when you're a captain. You know, there's a lot of pressures, and now he's a family man too. So it becomes difficult for him. So I think this is a good move, because Rohit has done very well as a one-day player, and he's done very well as a Mumbai Indians captain. So I think Virat Kohli has been sensible here, trying to concentrate on his cricket rather than just solely be a captain come player. This way, as I agree with Vinay, Virat Kohli will lift his game, because he will understand now that that's burden of looking after everybody, looking after the players and all the staff and everything will not be only up to him anymore. It will be left to Rohit. So that pressure is going to be on Rohit's head. But Virat can now single-handedly concentrate on his game, perform better, hopefully, because it has been a tough year for him as a batsman, not as a skipper. As a skipper, he's been outstanding. But as a batsman, as a family man, he has had a little bit of not a struggle. By his standards, he has been a little bit, at 50% markup. So I think at this moment, it's a good move by Virat, a sensible move. This is exactly how they did it with Dhoni and with Virat. Now it's the change of guard. So it's a good move.
All right. Vinay, just that point that Alan was talking about, the fact that as a batsman, Virat Kohli hasn't been in the best of forms. How much do you think that has been a participating factor in this decision?
I think it would have played some part of it, and I think what Alan was saying is exactly right. I mean, Virat has set very high standards for himself. He's by far, even now, probably the best batsman the world has seen in the active player category. I mean, there's no question about that. And the kind of, the benchmark that he sets for himself, he's had a very lukewarm couple of years or so. Even in England, where India did exceedingly well, he did show some glimpses in 2 innings that he played, but in many other innings, he showed a recurrence of an old problem of fishing outside the off stump, and he needs to work probably on that, and he knows that. Nobody knows it better than him. Nobody can actually tell him what to do. He knows exactly what is to be done. And being a captain brings many more administrative responsibilities as well. I mean, Alan mentioned about looking after players. A captain also has to get involved in many other administrative aspects as well. And that puts a lot of pressure, of time on somebody. And remember, cricket is a sport that is played as much in the mind as it is played with the body. So you do need your downtime. You need a little bit of an off time to gather your thoughts together and think about the technique and think about the other things that may be playing in your mind. And once you have that kind of time, it just becomes better, and you kind of elongate your career. Alan also, alluded to the split captaincy we had when Mahendra Dhoni was around, and that worked very well. I mean, I believe that helped India use Mahendra Dhoni for maybe a year or so longer than otherwise if he would have been burdened with captaincy in all 3 formats. So it's actually a good way of prolonging a career and a high-quality performance from probably the best batsman in the world today. And in that sense, it's a great move. And also because you have a very good quality, ready-made replacement option available. I mean, Rohit arguably is a terrific T20 captain. He's shown that in the IPL. The Mumbai Indians is by far the most successful franchisee. So India has a very good ready-made replacement available for T20, and that makes it a very logical, decision in that sense to make. And it's good that he's taken the decision himself, where he's stepped aside from that particular role, and would obviously lead to Rohit Sharma being named as the T20 captain of India. Avni.